about a way that you guys can do sleeve choke. So in the event that we're standing up, you're typically not going to do the sleeve choke, but for all intents and purposes, imagine that we're in the mount position, and we'll show it from there as well. But remember that the sleeve choke, generally speaking, is going to look like this. I grab my sleeve, and then I knife this across, right? And then I straighten my arms, which gets the choke. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Generally speaking, we're not going to do it from this position. It'll be from the mount, or maybe even from the guard, okay? So I could also, instead of this being the choking hand, right, or the hand that's open, this becomes the choking hand, and I get it from here, okay? So I start here, I tuck them under my armpit this way and hook this way, grab my sleeve, and then I just push down, okay? Now, if I push hard here, he might choke, but if I hold here and I pull with this hand, he will choke. Does that make sense? So this is holding now, not choking, because it's on the back of his neck, and it's this that's pulling up. Make sense? All right, so if he's in the mount position, if I'm in the mount, right, and I'm able to get this hand, right, I hook up and I slide this all the way over, I own him, right? This is the choking hand, this is the stabilization hand, right, and I'm inside and so forth. Now, a lot of you guys are not gonna do it this way. So I knife mine across this way, you guys are gonna do this, he's gonna see it, he's gonna grab it, right? And now it's gonna be hard for me to make it happen. So I hug, he can't see my hand, and then I knife this across, and then I've got the choke. It works the same from the guard position, right? I clear, I pull him in, I hug him, right? He wants to get posture. He starts to posture up, and I finish him right here. Cool? I can finish him here as well. Does that make sense? Under the armpit, cup the head, grab this, look, this sleeve, right? This isn't the choking mechanism. This is holding. Right? I could probably grab something else just to brace. It's this hand, the left hand, right? I start pulling this up. Can we do it?
Sure.
All right. Get with your partner, new partner, Bill's Thunder, because he was the one that was just talking about this. Show, if you will show him from the standing position, a couple of variations that,
Okay.
same entry, similar entry,
So,
you get different variations.
Same entry. We did the same sleeve down, right? The same exact, sleeve deal, right? And torque, right? Same thing. Okay, it goes in the armpit, right? Same thing, right? So we have Darce, Anaconda, and Clock, all from the same exact entrance. The only difference is where I put my hands. So if I pull here and I go this way underneath, this becomes Anaconda, okay? So what I've done is I've tangled his arm involved, okay? Darce is same entrance, but this time, instead of going this way with his head, I'm gonna go this way. So again, I'm still catching the arm, and I'm torquing him this way, okay? So the only difference is where I'm putting my hands, but it's the same entrance, right? Boom, right? Same deal. Same deal. The only difference is what I'm entangling. And then the clock choke is better, hands and knees, and we can teach that later. There's a lot more involved to that. Any questions?
Sure.
Okay?
Right.
Did I answer, figure it out that far?
Yeah. Any other questions on this particular entry?
Can you show us one more time?
Sure. So we're gonna do the Darce or Anaconda first. We're gonna grab like this. We're gonna yank down and pull this down, scoop his head in, stick this in his armpit. Stick his head in my armpit, stick his arm across his face. See where my hand's at?
Sure.
Grab my bicep with it. And then squeeze.
Kind of looks like guillotine with the arm
Yeah.
inside.
This is same like this. It's the same deal. The only difference is where his head's at. Same. Got it?
Very good. Give it a try. In the choke, you're just kind of holding on and hugging the guy. All right. So part of this is, how is your hand aligning on their neck? If there's a lot of space on if there's no space on both sides, you'll probably get a blood choke. If you find your forearm across the Adam's apple or the windpipe, you're going to get an air choke. But if you've got space here and you're just bending the head, you're going to get a neck crank. So one of them's going to affect. But let's say, for example, that I tuck him under and I go here, right? And I just grabbed it here. There's some space here. There's nothing there's nothing choking him on this side. I've got this part of my arm instead of the V across his neck, right? I'm really not choking him. I'm going to squeeze him hard. Is that a good choke?
No.
Now, all I got to do is tuck it a little farther, and now I got him. Right? Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So I got to get this elbow tight in there. Do you see how tight that is? So right here, there's a lot of space in there. I suck up the space, right? Then I grab this. Now, if you still don't have him, right? Am I choking you?
No.
Not choking. I'm like, this is all I got. You start lifting. You'll either close off the airway or you'll crank the neck. Make sense? Either you can drop down into the guard, use your legs, crank the neck, or make the choke. Right? Remember that also, when Renshi Bill said that you can pull him down here and you can set this up, you can now feed this hand for Darce. Right? It's this part against the neck. Right? Now, it's not so much squeeze this way, it's squeeze into his neck. Right? Was that good?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll try to show without him being here. I want this pushing against the side of his neck. The inside, right where my watch goes, right? That's what I'm looking for. All right, so I like to set up both the same way. I pull down, I suck this one up. I've got, say it?
Anaconda.
Anaconda. I go the opposite way. We go this way. Now I've got Darce. And then I crank in, pull his head into my chest to make the choke. Pretty cool?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now that works super good if somebody shoots on you and you hook the head. Who's ever gotten guillotine off? All right, most of the time, I blow my double leg and I stick my head right in his arm. Sometimes that happens, right? I'm like, I'm gonna get this double leg, and he puts his head, he goes for guillotine, right? He sits down, and I'm here, right? And I've just blown everything, right? He's got everything tightened up nicely. Now, change, and he hooks an arm before he goes to sprawl, he hooks an arm. So I go in here, and he pushes the arm across, and he makes Anaconda, right? Now, he can still drop down and lock me up, and he's got Anaconda Choke. All right. By the way, you can do these from side control. You can do these from referee position. There's a lot of neat options here. So for kneeling down, right, I can do all of these from here, right? Here's Anaconda, no arm, I've got guillotine. I start Anaconda, I go the other way, I got Darce. But the problem is how do I finish? I might not be able to finish this unless I entangle a leg to get where I want, right? If I can entangle the leg, his chance of escaping goes down. Pretty cool?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right.
So same deal, but this time I'm going to use his lapels. I'm going to use his clothes. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull down, and I'm going to put his head in this armpit, and I'm going to hold onto the lapel. You see it? Then this hand is going to go in the armpit and behind his head, and then just like before, I do that. Okay. Boom. Got it?
You're good.
Okay. And if you really want to be, totally deadly with it, take your head, stick it inside here, and roll. So let's get to the knees, and I'll do it. All right. So I grab, I pull, we get here. I stick it here like this. I stick my head in, and roll.
Good.
Yeah.
So it looks like kind of single wing, but from the north and south.
From the north-south, yeah. Single wing, north-south.
I love it. Thank you. Good. Who's seen that one before?
Grab it, beep, pull down, push his head under your armpit, and you got it, okay? Stick it in his armpit, stick behind his head and squeeze.
Very cool.
And he'll tap. Or he'll die. It's okay.
Give it a try. All right, let's try this. You have to have the leg. That's essential. So I get here, I grab hold tight, and I go to make this. Now, all I got to do is don't let go of this, because that's how he escapes. I start bridging towards, and then I choke this way. Okay? Now, if I let go of the leg, watch what he does. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
The key is I'm going to pull and hold here, and then I'm just going to bridge with that extra power. One more time. Grab, pull, tuck, hook, sit back, bridge, and then choke. Pretty cool?
Yes, sir.
So it's kind of like bow and arrow choke, kind of from a weird angle, but it's halfway decent takedown. And if you can get that and hold it, you got to get that leg. Pretty cool?
Yes, sir.
All right. Who's willing to stay an extra 10 minutes or so? All right. Renshi Bill, you still have the flow.
Clock choke. Just you two. You got it too? Yeah, you were watching. Okay, let's do the clock choke. Okay, same deal, but this time I'm gonna, just like I was doing the traditional judo throw, right? But we're gonna start it from the knees, so it's easier to see. Okay, so what I want him on his figure four, hands and knees. The way I'm gonna get him there is I'm gonna yank him. Okay, and as soon as I yank him, I'm gonna keep a hold of this, right near his ear. I'm gonna go to his side this way. I'm gonna smash down on him, and I'm gonna cross my hand under his head. So I was here first, so I'm gonna go underneath, okay? Now, it doesn't really matter which hand I grab, but I wanna keep this shoulder, I wanna keep pressure on his shoulder, okay? We call it the clock choke because just like the hands on a clock, those of you that read an actual clock, and unlike the wrestlers that read the digital stuff, you're gonna stand on your toes and walk towards the 6 o'clock. So this is the 6 and this is the 12. I'm gonna become the long and he's gonna be the short. So again, here, under, pin, lock one of his arms, doesn't matter what, and you're gonna walk, you're gonna get on your toes and walk by pressing here. Walk this way and he will tap. If he doesn't tap and he sags away, let go because he's unconscious. And if you hold him too hard, you'll kill him. So, or if he's Alex, he won't tap at all, and he likes to see the sparklies. Okay? Questions?
When you said trapping the arm, what, you were just holding it?
Yeah, just holding it so he can't roll away. Okay? Because if he's here and I'm pressing on him, and as soon as he feels this, if he's been here once, he'll drop his body, and now I may have something, or I may not. I start to walk around, he'll sit out or whatever, and he's free, okay? But if I can isolate so he can't roll, see?
So Caleb is going to want to put where his left hand is, he's going to want to fold that and put his left shoulder on the ground to roll away. That's what he's looking for to escape the trap. Bill doesn't let him by controlling that arm.
Got it? All right, let's see it.
I can do it just kind of standing up to show you. If you start here, you've really got to move a lot to get this thing in play, and you're probably going to run out of gi. In other words, it's going to bind under his armpit. Make a little bit better grip, right? Then when you go to make any of these moves, we're on our knees and we're doing a clock choke. I've snapped him down, right? I move to the side, like Bill said, I've underhooked the neck. Look at that space. Does it feel like I'm choking you at all?
No.
Now watch. It needs to be a little higher. Now, I can tell that I've taken up the space. And if you grab this arm or this arm, Bill said, let's put your ribs on him. So some of you guys are doing this, and you don't really want to put your weight on him, so you're doing a whole bunch of this. And see how it's bending his neck? But it's not choking him. Let's do it the way that Renshi Bill said, right? Get the deep. Let's start back. Start with the proper grip. Big snatch down, right? Underhook the head, move to the side, grab something. Get your ribs on him, right? I just don't want him to roll. So whatever you got is good. Start cranking here, and then when I start walking over, I'm on him. Right there. Sorry, Caleb.
You're good.
Okay? If you leave space, number one, space equals... Escape. He's going to tend to escape. and your choke could be deficient. Pretty cool?
Yes, sir.
All right. Remember that there's always an opportunity to scramble, right? Caleb's in the up position. Well, kneeling.
Oh.
Right, his head is up. I snatch him down. His hands go to the ground. I move to the side, right? And I get this, and he feels it. He recognizes it. I go to grab it. He just rolls. No problem. I move to the top. I still have a grip. I can change, and I can move to something else. All right? But stick with him. Don't give up your grip. Yeah, you showed me that. I know.
That's my absolute favorite.
Bill's like, I think I showed him that. Yeah, you did. Paper cutter's an old one that he showed me a million years ago. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So again, if he rolls away and you just have this is all you have. Seek control, right? Make the loop, right? Which could be loop choke technically. And then I just lay on him. I pull out the slack with my left hand. When I stand up, I make paper cutter. Okay? So don't give it up if he does roll, if he escapes you. Pretty cool? All right.